Hello everyone, welcome to the Arsenal Way, and yes, we are back at you with your daily Arsenal Agenda show, your daily show from Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. and I'm joined by Chris Davison and Alfie Lambert just to delve into today's topics. But firstly, Alfie, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good morning, Bailey. Yeah, a lot better today, a lot cooler, so a lot nicer to be working in this weather. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. You're not wrong. It's just too hot yesterday. I think it's going to get worse though towards the end of the week. We shall see though. Chris, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you, lads. Good to be back. Hope everyone's keeping well. Not getting my hopes up just yet in terms of the weather, unfortunately, as you say, Bailey. I think it's going to get worse. Talks of reaching 40 degrees. So yeah, could be a meltdown as yet.
It could be. And I don't think it will be a meltdown in Arsenal's transfer window though, because of course we've already made 4 signings, Alfie, and it could be a 5th one. It's rumoured to be a 5th one on the way potentially, as Arsenal are reportedly chasing Lucas Paquetá. Alfie, just what's your thoughts on this pursuit from Arsenal?
Yeah, I think that Paquetá is a very good player from what I've seen of him. I think the most that I saw of him was when he was sort of playing as a false 9. I don't think he played that position for the whole season, maybe just for a month or so, but he did look like a really good footballer. Seen that he can play in that left central midfield role, which of course is what we've been looking for. So, a good footballer that could fill that role. And looking at his stats from last season, I think 11 goals and just as many as assists, I think. So, he's got that sort of creativity and goal scoring to his game, which I know that we're sort of looking to add into midfield. I think with Odegaard, I think next season he'll sort of add more to that. But with, Partey and Xhaka, we know they're not exactly known for their goal scoring. So in that respect, I think that he'd add that to the midfield. But, looking at the reported price tag, as much as 70 million, it's a lot of money for, a player that I don't think we necessarily need for, that Tielemans, I think, would do the job just as well for a fraction of the price. But I think that's the only thing that sort of puts me off the deal is the price tag, because if it doesn't go to plan, it could potentially be 70 million down the drain on, for me, a player that we don't necessarily need.
Absolutely. And Chris, we've been linked to, of course, Serge Milinkovic-Savic, and now Lucas Paquetá. What does this mean for Yuri Tielemans? Does this suggest that we've any interest in him, or do you think we could still sign him?
I think there's still a chance, of course. We know he's there on the market potentially for around 25-30 million pounds. It's been widely reported that we've been in contact with his camp for many months now, that the communication has been there. I think Arsenal pretty much laid out a lot of the groundwork for a potential deal as well, so they could come in at any point and wrap things up. So of course it remains a possibility, but links to other names indicate that I suppose Arsenal are exploring several options at the same time, which is a safe option. You can't always rely on one player. You never know how that deal is going to end up. So it's good to see that the club are looking at multiple potential deals. And I must admit, I like all of the names being or at least going around. You mentioned Savic there, been talking about Paquetá and Tielemans, and I'm a fan of all of them. I think I'm leaning more towards Tielemans just because what you're going to get. He's Premier League proven. He can score goals from midfield, which is obviously something we've been lacking. He's at a good age, a good price. Obviously, Alfie, you mentioned it there. Half of the price of Paquetá potentially. So I think it's just such a good opportunity, really, and it's a rare opportunity to get a player of his caliber for that potential price in today's market. I suppose that the one thing with Paquetá that I do like, though, maybe perhaps more than Tielemans, is that the pressure he puts on the opposition. He's very energetic. He works very hard. And in terms of, what Arteta expects from his players, the way we set up, he would fit in very well in that regard. One of the many reasons we probably brought Jesus in up top is because of the pressure he puts on the defence, and the runs he makes, and someone like Paquetá as well does very similar in midfield, not just in midfield really, but all over the pitch. He makes dangerous runs, he tracks back, he works hard to get the ball back. He puts pressure on the opposition. So I'd say, when you compare the two, to Tielemans, for example, who perhaps has, come under criticism for his defensive work rate, Paquetá probably just edges that. But again, as I've always said with Tielemans, And when you join a club like Arsenal and working under a manager like Mikel Arteta, you're going to know, Tielemans is going to know that it's a side of his game that he's going to have to improve on and work hard at. So, I don't think it's, a thing that makes or breaks a potential deal with Tielemans. I think there's absolutely room there for him to improve on that front. But we'll just have to wait and see how things work out. It's clear to see that we've got multiple targets in that midfield position lined up. If we go for one of them, if for any at all, remains to be seen. But the links that are being, or the names that are being linked, are encouraging. So potentially an exciting move lined up for one of them. We'll have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see indeed. And another transfer development yesterday, and what was a laugh for Arsenal fans, because Chelsea had been gloating on social media after they had reportedly hijacked a Rafinha deal. However, he rejected the Blues, and yesterday an Arsenal favourite who plays for Bayern Munich and Serge Gnabry also reportedly rejected the Blues. Alfie, Chelsea were reportedly chasing Gnabry, but he does not want to join there, according to German sources, because of his loyalty to Arsenal. Just what does that say about Gnabry, Alfie? And does that get you excited for maybe a potential Arsenal transfer in the near future?
Yeah, I think it's sort of one of those, if it's true, that it gets you excited for a transfer that, for me, if I take off my Arsenal tinted glasses, it is probably very unrealistic. I hope that he doesn't do sort of what Fabregas did. Of course, Fabregas played a lot more for us and left a bigger legacy. But in 2014, I was absolutely devastated, when he went to Chelsea. And Gnabry, for me, he's one of the best wingers in the world. So whether he'd want to drop to Europa League football, I think it would be a tough ask. I think if we had Champions League football, again, I keep saying it, then potentially, with those ties, we'd be able to win him over. But, these talk of him saying that he's not going to go to Chelsea. I mean, when Fabregas was at Arsenal, I remember him saying that he'd never go to Chelsea, and then look what happened. So I think sometimes money talks, and, as much as I hate to sort of accept it, I do think there is, a potential move for him there, because I think at Bayern Munich, from what it looks like this summer, it looks like they're wishing to offload him in the last year of his contract, probably wanting to get a bit of a fee for him, because I think they've said it, if he doesn't sign a new contract, they're sort of pressuring him into signing it, because I think he'll have less of a role next season. So I think he probably will be looking for a move elsewhere, and again, whether he'd want to join us and play Europa League football, because I do think he is a lot better than that. But looking at it from an Arsenal point of view, if it is true what he said, then it does sort of give me that optimism that we could sort of have a word with him and see if we could convince him. But whether it is realistic, I'm not too sure.
Absolutely, Chris. We offered, almost reportedly anyway, offered to pay 55 million for Rafinha from Leeds. Do you think we could use that money to potentially use it to sign Gnabry, who has 1 year left remaining, so he could be available for quite cheap? Do you think Arsenal should attempt to transfer the money over to Bayern Munich?
Well, yeah, absolutely. If I absolutely think we should do that, obviously. But Alfie touched on it there, the complications that come with a deal like this, whether or not he'd want to play in the Europa League. There's talk of Bayern Munich still being relatively confident over agreeing a new contract with him. So, so many if, buts, and maybes with this one. But look, we've got to try and stay realistic. I get the excitement around his name, because he's a top class player that would undoubtedly take our team to the next level, especially going forward. But I just don't think we're where we need to be in order to secure a name of that caliber. I mean, Alfie said it just then as well about European football, or the Europa League, to be specific, and dropping down from participating in the Champions League. You don't see that happen very often, and I can't see it being any different with Gnabry, unfortunately. So who knows? It absolutely could have been a different situation if we did make the top four. Absolutely, I think that possibility then becomes a lot more realistic. But with where we are now, and the way we're looking to build the team, and the money that we're spending, I just don't know if we're going to go down that route and if we even can. You know, like I say, stranger things have happened in the transfer window. You never say never, absolutely, but just judging by what the reports out there are saying and the players we're being linked with, it doesn't appear that Gnabry is on our radar. Not at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but I just can't see it happening. Just can't.
Yeah, I think it's a dream rather than a reality, but you never know. Funny things do happen in the transfer window. Maybe Gnabry would be open to missing out just for a year of Champions League football to maybe get Arsenal back into the Champions League, but that is really wishful thinking. But as you said, we do not know what could happen. But guys, make sure to leave your questions in the comment section as well, because we will be answering them towards the end of the show. So make sure to just leave your questions in there. Alfie, the final topic of the show we are going to move on is Juventus. Now, of course, they've been reportedly interested in Bellerin in the past, Torreira, but I think worryingly for Arsenal fans, they've also been interested in Gabriel Magalhães, and reports are saying that Arsenal have put 40 million price tag on him. Do you think that's worth Gabriel's qualities and his importance to Arsenal's team?
I think you just mentioned a dream and reality with the Gnabry deal. Surely that's got to be a dream for Juventus. If we sold him for, I think it works out as about £6 million more than what we paid for him, then I think that's one of the worst pieces of business that Arsenal have done, in my lifetime. Because for me, he's an absolutely fantastic defender in the way that he complements Ben White in defence. I think, we haven't had a defensive partnership like this for me since Mertesacker and Koscielny, and look at how, strong they were. So for me, it'd just be daft to sell him to Juventus, especially when, the Italian clubs, you look at sort of the business that they do. I think it's such strange business that they seem to just keep it within themselves. And then as soon as it comes to a player outside the league, they're not willing to cough up the money. I mean, we heard that they were skint, but they were still able to spend, 70 million on Vlahovic. So if they can spend that sort of money, then they can cough up a bit more for Gabriel. But for me, it just makes no sense. Even with Saliba coming back, it takes one injury to sort of Ben White or even Gabriel, and then we've got the third centre back who's top quality, who can fill in, and we've got that rotation there, which I think will be key next season. But I just can't see it happening. Even I know we mentioned with the Gnabry deal, Champions League football being a factor. I just think there's so much more in it at Arsenal than Juventus. Maybe I'm being biased, but I think Juventus are on such a downward slope. They've gone from league winners to scraping top four. Whereas, we've gone from 8th to 5th, but it is looking better. I mean, next season, I'm confident that we will return to Champions League football. I don't want to be quoted on it at the end of the season if we've got Europa League again. But I just think we're in such an upwards, we're in a lot of momentum as well. I think that it would be weird to leave Arteta's project and move over to Juventus. So I do think it's one of those, just a report that they've thrown in the media. Maybe just for a few clicks. I hope that's right, and there's nothing concrete in there.
Yeah, I do hope you're right, Alfie. But Chris, let's say Arsenal are willing to sell Gabriel. For you, how much money would it take for Arsenal to begin negotiations, or would you class him as completely untouchable?
I would, class him as completely untouchable. And the reports still on the rounds, and the reported fee that we're asking for, I just think it's absolute rubbish. No, obviously, no disrespect to whoever has published that, but I just can't see that being true whatsoever. What we bought him for just over 20 million pounds, I think it was. It was certainly in that region. We wouldn't be making much profit at all. I think he's actually a player that has grown and developed and improved since he joined the club as well. And he's a Brazilian international. He's at a good age. You've got to be in today's market asking for at least 50 million, in my opinion. But I just find those reports very hard to believe. I don't think Arsenal will be willing to let him go unless, obviously, an unrefusable offer comes in, which is just too good to turn down financially. But again, I just don't think Arsenal are even in that position anymore. Over the years we've got used to Arsenal selling the best players for money because they needed to generate funds. I don't think we're there anymore. Far from it, actually. I think we're in a much more healthy position financially. The owners, I mean, I don't want to obviously sort of curse it or anything like that, but the owners appear to be putting more money and investment in to improve the team. Certainly that's what I sort of understand and get the gist of over the past couple of windows. That's how it appears to me anyway. So obviously, yeah, that means we're going in the right direction. We want to keep our best players. We want to build on what we've already got, and obviously the business done so far this summer sort of points in that direction. And yeah, I agree with Alfie. I think for Gabriel, in terms of career choices, career paths, going to Juve doesn't really do anything for him. Juve haven't been as competitive and as up there as they have been in the past. They have gone through and are going through struggles of their own. Haven't obviously been anywhere near consistent as what we're sort of used to associating with them. Whereas at Arsenal, we're building a very young, exciting team that is getting closer. Okay, we're not there yet, but we're getting closer to where we want to be. And obviously that's top four, that's in the Champions League. I think the fact that we've added even more Brazilians to the squad should make Gabriel feel even more at home. He's got people around him that he's familiar with, he knows well, he gets along with as well. And yeah, I just think, personally, looking in from the outside, Gabriel looks happy, he looks at home. He's enjoying his football, he's performing well, he's loved by the fans. He doesn't need to go anywhere. He's in the right place at this moment in his career. And of course, we know that and obviously wish the players well with whatever choices they make in their careers. But I personally think if Gabriel was to push or look to move on this summer, it would be the wrong choice. Obviously, I'm not saying that's what he will do, but Arsenal should absolutely stand very, very firm on this, unless, like I say, just an unrefusable offer comes in. And when I say unrefusable, obviously I've said maybe 50 million at least for Gabriel, but unrefusable is in the region of 70 million pounds at least. That's what I'm talking about. That if an offer comes in like that, you've got to seriously think about it, because that could contribute to so many different things moving forward. You have to think of what we could do with funds like that. But anyway, I'm not going to entertain the thought of that even happening, because I think Gabriel will stay. I can even envision him signing a new deal moving forwards, Bailey, with the club. I just think he's happy where he is. He's surrounded by players he gets along well with, knows well, and in terms of the project Arsenal have in place, he can play a very important part of that, on top of what he's already contributed. He's a top player, he's enjoying his football, like I say, and yeah, he's in the right place. In the right place indeed. I hope Gabriel does not go anywhere. I don't believe he will either. I think he's a crucial part. You can't sell your crucial defender weeks before the opening game of the Premier League season. I don't think that's right. I don't think Arsenal would even entertain offers, but we shall see. Again, transfer window is a funny period, but we shall see. Well, we are going to end the show there, guys, as we have run out of time. Alfie, as always, thank you for jumping on, mate.
No, thank you for having me on, Bailey. Hope everyone listening has a good day. And look forward to the next one. Absolutely. Chris, as always, thank you, mate.
Cheers, Bailey. Thanks, Alfie, as well. And thank you to those tuning in this morning, getting involved. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Absolutely, guys. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like and comment as well. How much would you sell Gabriel Magalhães for? Do you think we should sign Lucas Paquetá? And do you think Gnabry transfer is a reality, or do you think it's just a dream, like we've been saying? Let us know in the comment section, guys. And most importantly, make sure you keep following us down the Arsenal way.